and this is like not any bash on LordRaphael. LordRaphael is an insanely talented player. Like he
Yeah.
is the clear number two to me right now in terms of skill in Age of Empires 3.
Yeah.
He is a very skillful player. But I mean H2O
Ooh.
is looking to be on just a different level. And we've always known that when H2O is on form, he is one of the scariest players to have to fight against.
I'm going to include what you just said there in the VOD. I'm going to go out of my way to go and grab that. But let's start the recording. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to potentially the final game in this series. $2 coming in from I Am Soldier. More games, please, he says. I'm sure there will be, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Winter Tournament. This is game number 5 in a best of 9 series between H2O and LordRaphael for the grand finals of the Winter Championships 2016. LordRaphael has to pick first for this match, and he has opted to go with Russia on Deccan, where Russia already get... Oh no, this is Bengal, using the, of course, Deccan tile set and image set, because we do not have image sets for, of course, new maps. We cannot make that. Well, we can, but then everyone would have to have them. Actually, now that we have an ESOC patch, we could actually do that. That's a very good idea. For those of you that don't know, we're playing on ESOC patch. This is a community mage patch. This tournament is brought to you by eso-community.net. All of the prize pools are funded by the generous community. Do leave a donation if you'd like to do that, just like you saw I Am Soldier doing. Those $2 will go to the tournament. Thank you very much. But H2O does elect to play India on Bengal here. I like these civilization choices. What do you think, Zua?
Yeah, this is a great civ. This is a great matchup for India. Personally, I think worth mentioning Bengal, the non-TP map in the set. So obviously the civilizations get a little bit wonky there. We mentioned how both sides likely are going to want to have thrown out their French and their German before we get to this point. Both sides have successfully played French and German at this point, and so now we're into the situation where we got to be seeing the non-TP maps, and it looks like it's going to be India versus Russia, a matchup that I've always viewed to be much in India's favor, and we'll see what kind of magic LordRaphael can work. The comeback starts now.
Absolutely. I am excited to see that, but I'd also... I don't know, it'd be pretty interesting if H2O grabs his a 5-0 bathroom. Wow.
A 5-0 bathroom break.
Alright, I'm going to quickly end the recording and then restart it when we are beginning. Alright, we are back. Bengal, ladies and gentlemen, a brand new map that rains when you jump in. Very appropriate for the water boy, which is the person we're just starting above. Of course, H2O has had very many good ladder and tournament performances. I'll keep saying it because it's a grand final. H2O did compete in the 2007 and won the 2008 World Cyber Games, where he won a significant prize pool for playing Age of Empires 3, the Asian Dynasties. Has also came second in the Spring ESOC Tournament of 2015. Has done very, very well in PK Clan Tournament 4 and Hope Tournaments and lots of other things as well. A very, very strong player. And of course, LordRaphael, Zuter even said it, probably one of the second best, next to perhaps Fighting Frenchman, as well. Not Fighting Frenchman, Fighting Irish. Which,
to be fair, the ear's pretty good as well, I've heard.
Yeah, he's pretty good. H2O really, really fond of how he plays. A very good mechanical player, and I'd love to see things from him in the future. Certainly on SmackDown, certainly on VODs on my channel, which will hopefully be coming back. And, of course, in tournaments where we have raised so much money. Thank you again to everybody who has donated on this stream. This tournament, these games are brought to you by eso-community.net. And we thank you for all of your generosity. The map is, of course, India. There is 2 monks down in the south here picking up some treasures. A geological survey showing promising ores of veins or something like that. But not going to be picking that up, of course. Not going to give you any tangible benefit. It does give you this thing that is hard to measure and probably not that useful once you've scouted the map anyway. So just going to leave that there, and can be tempting to grab that. Certainly scouting information very useful, but not going to grab that. 40 coin is going to pick that up as India. Those 2 scouts. Russia also going to be doing the same, but not as to a greater extent. It's actually... I'm not sure what he's doing. I thought perhaps he was purveying the area, waiting for elephants or something, but that would be unlikely. 100 food over there. That is a nice pickup, right, Zuta? But we do have Russia as well, before we get into that. Russia is the other player. This is Bengal. It looks very much like Bayu of course, but it is a much more balanced version of Bayou that has starting hunts, which are elephants, which is PogChamp, which is cool. But 100 food, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's such a great treasure. It's going to help expedite the Indian age up so much. Similarly, also a nice little wood treasure over here as well. Going to be able to pick that up. We all know how beneficial those kinds of treasures are to the Indian early game. If he can pick up both of those treasures successfully without taking any sort of harass from the Russian explorer, a absolutely huge win for him in this age one. We've said it in each game. In all of the previous 4 games, H2O has convincingly won Age 1, and he's well on his way to doing so once again with these Indian explorers, waltzing their way over to this 100 food treasure.
Yeah, and I think they're about to engage that there, and I think the reason he didn't go for it earlier is he was waiting for the red explorer to pick up a treasure. H2O has seen a lot of the map. He knows where most of the treasures are. He's probably waiting for red to pick up a treasure on the other side of the map, so he had a sort of read on where that explorer was so that he could safely go for this 100 food treasure there, but looks like it is going to come in, and it's not actually going to be as... he's going to grab it, there's no question here, but I do like his, coming in here. Might even, if he can get into hand combat, he does not do that. He's going to kite forward towards the elephant, though, might be able to take it out. It does stop for a second and go back. That is not what H2O wanted. He probably clicked back to age up or something like that. We see he's only just clicked up
here
the
he
age
goes! Rocket ship away!
Oh, and picks it up on the
got
final animation. I do like Age of Empires 3 and how, if you've already started the animation, you cannot possibly miss. It'll always hit. I do actually think that's quite nice. It does mean that you can't, like, bullshit around and run units back if you can see that they're about to be targeted or something like that. And I love how all shots are 100% going to hit. I know other players from Age of Mythology, Age of Empires 2, if you're watching this, I know you might be, of course, because it is a grand finals, and hello to you guys, but AoE 3, welcome. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And there is that. But that's something about AoE 3 that does happen. Anyway, I know in Age of Mythology you can run camels around at a certain speed and they'll never get hit by archers, which is cool, but probably not suited to AoE 3. But either way, let's talk about this game right here. Both players aging up Zuter, Russia versus India, and Market has just been laying down, picking up their civil servants.
Yeah, picking up his market upgrades, playing a very defensive style of India. We can already see the Agrafort has gone down, and as a result, it's in a very defensive location. We can see right on top of his second hunt, right on top of his first coin mine. And we can also see LordRaphael sneaking out into the middle portion of the map, getting this blockhouse established, going to be trying to take some sense of map control here away from the Indian player. If you look at the hunts available to the south side of LordRaphael's forward location, there's a ton of hunt down there, and he's hoping that he can just pen up his opponent here, keep him in his base, and eventually starve him out. But that's going to be a tall task. Indian villagers costing wood. Food tends to last them for a significantly longer period of time, and as a result, it's going to be a pretty long stalemate that he's going to need to draw this out before H2O actually gets too hungry inside his base.
Yeah, absolutely. It does age up there, of course, with the Agrafort. Does get his 2 sepoys for free. And let's turn on all of these graphics things and switch over to shipment sent, because, of course, with players will be receiving their first shipment in the colonial age soon. But I do think India, a very, very good choice for this map for the exact reason that you mentioned. Hunts are spare. There is no trading post. Therefore, a civilization like India does become better, where they'll benefit from, of course. Actually, there aren't any yaks, so never mind that point. But Russia, I also like that as a civilization, an aggressive one that doesn't need a trading post and can do well on a map like Bengal, where you can close up the resources, whereas this, due to the perhaps the map, the way it looks. But 10 Strelets do come out, 5 Cossacks, going to make use of that really powerful shipment, 750 resources this represents, all in military units, one of the better shipments in the game, right? They're going to come in and try and get some villager kills. Doesn't look like they're going to pick that up, though, with several sepoy nearby. Did you see those two switch to hand combat and then switch back almost instantly? Really, really nice from H2O.
Yeah, nice little tricks there. Completely shutting down any sort of raid pressure that LordRaphael was trying to ramp up. And at the same time, it's starting to establish his infrastructure. Very standard Carter, 600 wood coming out. We're going to see 300 export diplomatic entry coming as his next card as well. I can almost guarantee it. Consulate up, Ottoman style build coming out of here. And it's just going to be a very economic build. And this is a tough nut for LordRaphael to try and crack here. It's a very well built base so far. We can see this nice shape that H2O's got out in front of his coin mine. Very good job herding his second hunt early in the game. Has that nice and safe, and as a result, despite the fact that LordRaphael has sent 5 Cossack, 4 Cossack, really hasn't done anything of note with them just yet.
Nothing. Achieved really not very much except moving his opponent's military units around, perhaps forcing him to train sepoy and things like that. But yeah, 5 Cossacks, 4 Cossacks, adding to the composition nicely. But sadly, India already up to the fortress age. Well, they're not. And I do make that a point very obvious and incorrectly for a reason. They have Gurkhas in age 2, right? And Russia already struggle with units like those skirmishers, of course. Hussars, they don't have. Well, it doesn't matter if they don't have them or not. The point is, Cossacks, cavalry are the only thing they have, which are very good against the Gurkha there, and they don't have anything else that are good against them until they age up. Strelets and musketeers are both outranged by Gurkha, and as soon as H2O gets a big Gurkha mass, this could be not too good for the Russian player. But not out yet. He does have a sizable army. The economies are very even. They both have the same trickle, and of course, steel traps is working away for the Russian player as well. He does have that there, but the economy might not stay the same for very long. Ottoman consulate coming down, and that does mean 4 villages, right?
Yeah, it certainly does. Also worth mentioning, taking a look just at the general text completed already. Imperial bureaucracy finishing for the Indian player at 7 minutes and 26 seconds. So not forgoing his economy whatsoever as H2O with this defensive hold that he's been able to put up. And this is just the situation that I was that I was envisioning in my mind when this matchup takes place, right? You have a situation where India sits behind their Agra fort, gets up this nice little mass of sepoy and Gurkha, holds. If they get into a situation where there's a lot of pressure, they can pull 1 million units out of nowhere. You can get Minutemen, you can ship 4 Sours, you can train the European-style Minutemen from the Ottoman consulate, you can train the Hussar units that come from the Ottoman consulate. You can just get a whole bunch of stuff from out of nowhere, and it's got a lot of flexibility to deal with pressure. And behind this, if you don't sense any pressure, if you don't feel like you need to have any of that, you can turn it into very economic things. You can sink it into resource upgrades. You can get the villager upgrades from the consulate instead. And as a result, H2O finds himself with a very strong economy. If you take a look at the economic unit population, currently +6, with very good market upgrades. And continuing his way forward here, very soon he's going to be able to pull the trigger on starting to turn that economy into some actual unit potential, and then make a timing push out before his resources run out.
Yep, and foreign logging just arrived as well, adding to your point, making this very economic play. And look at the base construction here. The houses in very good spots there. Makes it very difficult for Russia to push in. Covers up the base very nicely just behind these Agra forts. Closes up all the gaps. Makes Gurkhas and ranged units just more effective generally. Makes those Minutemen that have their range more effective. Makes it very difficult for Russia to do anything. Makes it very difficult for Russia to get those cavalry in, which of course is their only way of dealing with Gurkhas. And I think here the blue player, H2O, is ready to sort of move his units out, maybe thinking about doing some pushing here. But 2 stables, you flare. He is intending to go full cav there. Perhaps he is, 4 Hussars do join the fray, but perhaps he is banking on H2O playing Gurkha heavy and punishing him with lots of cav. What do you think of that? 2 stables.
It's pretty smart. It's a big tech switch, and a kind of a risky tech switch, but one that currently I think is going to pay off. If you take a look at the military unit tab, take a look at the anti-cav that H2O currently has. He's got 8 Zams and 7 Sepoy, which aren't a ton of anti-cav. And if you take a look at the growing number of Cossacks, he's up to 17 now. If he pops out another batch of 10, that could be very quickly 27 Cossacks. If he sends the Boyar's card as his next card, all of a sudden you're talking about a situation where you've got 27 almost veteran-like Cossacks.
Is it time to go? Is that the Boyar's shipment? It's about to arrive if it is. I think it is. I think that's the correct timing. But 10 cavalry just pop out. I just switched over to units in queue. He had 10 cav there, and they're now out. 10 strelets in queue as well. And is the red player keeping his cav hidden before he slams them in here? H2O has been spotted by red now. He can see exactly what the composition is looking like. There is not very much anti-cavalry. It's just Gurkha and, of course, Zambaraks here. A huge amount of cavalry about to slam in. And if if that Boya shipment arrives right now, I'll be very, very impressed. Looks like he's going to slam right down on the cucumbers and absolutely slice them up into the salad that they will become. And of course, we do see some more Strelets have just arrived as well. Boya's does not arrive, but still an excellent fight. The Strelets trying to get into position to do some damage to these Zambaraks that do, of course, have those multipliers versus them. They are, for all intents and purposes, skirmishes, which are very good against that. Does a good job of getting most of his Skirkers back. It is the Sepoys to stay on the front and slow everything down. But now those cavalry are going to approach. But has H2O managed to clean up the numbers a bit? I think he's done a good enough job to be able to sink behind into the safety of these sparse trees that are going to cause pathing issues of this aggro fort. And of course, the houses in the back should he need to get there. There's cav switch. Perhaps if he'd waited for 10 more, it could have been. Then he maybe didn't have the resource. Maybe it was the time to go right then. But as a result, perhaps not the more favourable outcome that he was looking for. But still, very nicely done.
This is fine for Russia. There's no issues with this whatsoever. Remember what we said at the beginning of the game. Look at what Russia's got behind him versus what H2O has behind him in terms of safe resources to gather. The actual amount of resources that are still very safe for H2O are starting to run fairly thin. And if you take a look at the scores, they're very, very even. And realistically, the Indian player just poked his neck out and almost got his head cut off, quite frankly. It was a very dangerous situation with what he just tried to do. And, when things like Boyers do come, perhaps, even more military units going to be throwing up another blockhouse here in the middle of the map, going to improve his infantry infrastructure ever so slightly. Has the 2 stables up, still going to be training lots of Cossacks. There comes the Boyers now. I don't think this is necessarily getting any easier for India as the game progresses.
No, perhaps not. He is about to run out of food. He's got this last hunt here, and only 3 animals is not going to last you particularly long. Yes, the villagers do cost wood, and as a result of that, that does last you a lot longer. He is going to end up on this hunt here, but should the fighting take place in that location, that could very easily turn into a dead resource area for a time being. You mentioned, yes, it's not getting any easier for India, but he is ahead in terms of score, and is sporting a very nice economy. But having said that, Russia catching up quite quickly. We have to remember that they do have that town center bonus. Of course, villages are cheaper, which isn't the important thing. The important thing is they train considerably faster as Russia. And here, gonna be fighting on this resource spot. And by the looks of it, taking out that graph getting better, right? What are we looking at, sir?
Yeah, it still needs to be very careful, very tenuous situation. It's got a lot of Strela which are upgraded with Warriors, which is very, very important for a lot of Gurkha and a lot of Zams. And you can see the Gurkhas and Zams hesitant to be backing up, because if they back up any further, they're going to be standing on top of their own economy. So it's got to be pretty careful.
I really like the positioning from Red as well. Had the Musketeers, not so much now, but had the Musketeers in a nice location where the Strelets were the ones that would be auto-attacked by the Gurkha, and the only way those Musketeers could be attacked is if you right-clicked on them. Does manage to clean up all the Musks there, but those Musks are in a nice position to deal damage to the Zambraks, which they're very good against. But here, looks like Blue has considerably more units in terms of power. If you know the Blue units, of course, in terms of population are stronger. But actually, with the reinforcing Strelets, he might get pushed back. His army is mostly just Zambraks, and of course, those don't represent very much strength in terms of population, nor do Strelets, to be honest. But the composition is definitely very red-favoured until the Hussars, Sours turn up. These things may... Oh, they're just going to smash through these.
That's going to be brutal. That's going to be the worst part of it. If there had been just a few Cossacks remaining, he would have been able to continue to pursue this. But
so close. If he could have kept these Strelets alive, it might not be GG here. And he might be able to force this location off of Ryan. And then what does H2O do? Where is he going to gather food from it? If he was able to keep those Strelets alive, perhaps something stopped those cav from cleaning them up very quick. But that is GG. H2O takes the series in this final game. 5-0. What an impressive score coming from the Water Boy, showing his Age of Empires skills once again. A very, very strong player. But sadly for us, that is the end of this tournament. But what a conclusion. A 5-0 sweep from H2O, showing us that once again he is still among the best after all of these years. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Do leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Do put another PogChamp or Excited Asian in the chat.
Put an Excited Asian in the chat. Yeah. Or a Papa Rex Baby Rage.
Absolutely. Yeah. We said that in unison. What did you think of this game, Zu? Tell us about it.
It was so close. I mean, LordRaphael, I actually liked his position right up until the Sours came in right at the end. Strela with Boyers fighting against Gurkha Zams on top of your opponent's resources is exactly the position you want to be in. That's best case scenario for Russia, but he just didn't have quite the answer to the cavalry units, and as a result, just even 6 Sours. I mean, sure, they have Sour combat or Cav combat already researched, but they come in from the side, just give him just enough time to decimate that army, and LordRaphael is absolutely right. There's probably no way he's ever going to be able to deal with this composition. It's a very tough road to hoe. He was so close. I can't stress it enough how close some of these games are. I mean, your average game of Age of Empires 3 at a high level, I've maintained, shouldn't last between more than 15 to 20 minutes, just because at some point someone runs out of resources, and then usually the transition to mills and stuff is just too taxing on your economy if things are very close, and we're seeing exactly that. I mean, H2O he's out of resources. If you look at his base, he's got idle villagers in the north here. He is standing on top of his next hunt location. If he does not liberate that position, he is 100% done gathering food for the duration of the time that LordRaphael can hold that, and it was so close. It was absolutely so close. I mean, I know the scoreboard says 5-0, and it'll go down as a sweep, and that's fine. But LordRaphael, big props to him, because he played H2O very close in all of these games, and despite the fact that H2O does win the series, it's a 5-0. They were very close games.
Yeah, they were absolutely very close games. A lot of them lasting up to 20 minutes. And I tried to pull the Twitch chat in here to show all of the GGs. We've missed quite a few of them. Papa Rex Baby Rage does enter the chat. Good to see that. I'm going to drop a GG in there as well. But a 5-0 victory for H2O. Some of these games lasting 20 minutes and over. And as H2O mentioned, I'm going to say it again, very, very close. LordRaphael has nothing to be ashamed of going away from this. Some really, really well-played games on both sides. And it will be remembered as a very, very good finals. And I'm very happy to have casted that with you, Zoo. I've really enjoyed the games today, and I hope everybody has as well. We are up to 521 viewers, and I imagine that is where it will start to go down. But this is approaching spring levels of hype. We had almost 900 viewers for the spring championships, and this is 521, not far off. And we did this on our own, guys. This is
and you
an
put in
ESOP
the
stream.
YouTube one too, right?
Yeah, and if we count that as well, we currently have 86 people watching that. If I refresh that, we'll take another look. 85, gone up by a little bit. I'm not sure if they're unique viewers, but if you add that to it, that's 600 viewers. And this is an ESOC stream. This is something made by the community from scratch. We're not doing this off the back of twitch.tv/Age of Empires, the official people there. Just us guys, hosting $1,000 tournaments, which we've raised so much money for doing these streams. So big thanks to everybody who donated, and really, really pleasing to see Age of Empires 3, a game that is 10 years old and aging at this point, still pulling these number of viewers, this much interest, and having players of this high skill level. So that is it from me and Zuta, unless you have something else to add.
That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it as always, and looking forward to the next tournament. Can the Dictator hold out? Will he sign up for the next one, or will we have a new champion come spring championship time?
LordRaphael, a very strong player, and I'm sure he will be in the next one. He will go very far in the next one. Fighting Frenchman, an eye to look out for. Blackstar possibly may return. Fighting Irish, damn it! Yes.
We all want the ear to be our true champion. The true champion we deserve.
I'm sure Fighting Frenchman will sign up as well. But yes, and we also have potentially Blackstar, maybe. Potentially Vinny, maybe. Samwise12 will certainly be signing up. Me and Zuta, I don't know. Perhaps, maybe.
I think I'm going to sign up for the next one.
If you do it, I'll do it.
I told Ryan that I would sign up for this one if he would allow me to play Japan every single game.
I don't think you're going to get those rules.
said no. Yeah. So I've been practicing my China FF.
Yeah.
And I've been practicing. I know how to play Japan.
Yeah.
And I just need to learn one more cheesy all-in strat, and then I can do my 2 cheesy all-in strats and then play Japan. Like those will be my 3 civs.
You might get quite far doing that.
That'll last me at least through like the best of 5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, if you get further in that, it might not, but certainly you could learn during that time. We'll see if you even get that far, but I'll sign up if you do. That'll be fun.
Sure.
All of these players that I've mentioned, what a series! I really enjoyed this. The VODs will be available on the ESOC TV channel and on mine as well. This tournament was brought to you by eso-community.net. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. That is it from us today. A great series. I really enjoyed that, even if it was a 5-0. Very, very close, as we have mentioned. But that is it. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you all again next time.